All right. So we're going to be covering this news today. This is about essentially some more restructuring and focusing on stuff at Warner Brothers slash NRS, I believe. And of course, Shaun Himmerick being promoted to Senior Vice President. Let's check it out. So this post first and foremost by Shinobi602 over here on X. Warner Brothers Games restructures into divisions based on 4 key franchises: Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, and DC Universe. Now, you could argue that maybe they're doing this with DC Universe with a new Superman movie coming out. But again, I think, like, to a degree, I think there is a bit of, this is my personal opinion, a bit of superhero fatigue. The strengths in this 4-tier list is Mortal Kombat and Harry Potter, because Hogwarts Legacy was an absolute banger of a title. With the recent announcement of Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection by Digital Eclipse, as well as NetherRealm and Warner Brothers, that I would believe, at least in my opinion, do very well as well. And that seems to be, you know, those two, as far as those 4 goes, seems to be what I would consider the strengths at Warner Brothers right now. I think Game of Thrones, I know they're bringing out, I believe it is a new RTS game, I think it is. And they've got a free-to-play game out as well. I don't know if there's that hunger for Game of Thrones really anymore. Anyway, it says here, teams to report to now promoted Yves Lachance, maybe? Possibly? I don't know. And Shaun Himmerick aligned to franchises they're working on. Now, if we go over to here, focusing on the MK side of it, this is over on the Mortal Kombat Reddit. Shaun Himmerick has been promoted to Senior Vice President of Mortal Kombat and DC. Now, obviously, this raises the question about whether or not they'll bring out a future Injustice game. They may not. They may. Who knows, right? I don't know how well it would do. I know fighting games right now are on the up and up, which is actually pretty awesome. There's a lot of excitement and you know, just wow factor with some of the stuff that's been recently announced. We do have Virtual Fighter on the horizon. Obviously, as I mentioned, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is coming out this year, which is great. That means we don't have to wait, you know, till next year to get it, which is fantastic news, of course, for us old MK heads. But, and then, of course, we got other fighters out there coming, you know, probably next year. I don't know, is 2XKO coming out this year, or they delayed it till next year? I'm not sure. We've got, obviously, the Invincible fighter, Invincible Versus coming out. We then, obviously, have Marvel Tokon fighter as well that's coming out at some point. So, fighting games, like, there is actually a lot of talk, right, of fighting game stuff going on right now. So, anyway, so it says here, Bro gave us both Shaolin Monks and MK9 shit. Maybe the next MK game will be a banger, right? So obviously right here, he was just the Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks producer, but it'd be very interesting to see what actually happens moving forward in regards to, we might be able to have a look at this article as well. We'll look at, you know, the comments. We'll maybe change it to new. All right. There was once a dude called Shaun Himmerick. I'm not sure if I should be happy or scared, kind of a mix of both. This guy has been notorious for blacklisting people he didn't like and was crashing out real hard when shit hit the fan. Not a good sign. Well, it depends. Was he crashing out and the shit hitting the fan because things were not going the way that they should have been? I mean, Shaun's been around a really long time, you know, in that space. And maybe, just maybe, this is the kind of guy that they need. They need a hammer in there to really absolutely nail down what makes, you know, fighting games great again. Perhaps. I don't know. I don't know the guy well enough. Maybe other people out there that have had experiences with him can divulge further information in the comments. But maybe this restructuring, and they're looking at people going, look, we need people that are going to deliver, like actually deliver. And you might say, well, but look, Fate, you know, MK1 sold 5 million, MK11 sold 15 million, etc., etc. So yeah, but sales, you know, everything that's MK generally sells well, but it's the aura around it. It's the lasting appeal. Are people really enjoying this stuff? Is there good conversation around it? By the end of MK11's life cycle, there wasn't really a lot of positivity. You know, it's one of the downsides, unfortunately, is that these games don't seem to have a lot of longevity, whether it be through either support officially through the actual developers or publishers themselves, or long-term with the community. And that could very well be because, unfortunately, maybe some of these fighting games that get produced, not just obviously through NRS, but they're like junk food. You know, you consume them for a little bit, but after a while you realize, you know, yeah, I don't feel great eating this anymore. And you move on to something that's a lot more satisfying, something that really feels good to play, that every day you load it up and you're like, yeah, I'm so glad that I'm playing this. And that's not to take away from the people that do feel like that with these games. Of course, you absolutely do. And that's perfectly fine. I'm just talking in the general consensus here, the overview, if you will, of what I'm seeing personally and hearing from people over the course of a number of years. I'm glad they're still moving forward with focusing on MK, especially after axing MK1 that early. Now, obviously, within light of the announcement with Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, there's been a buzz. Everyone is buzzing about this. You know, we've got older folks such as myself that have, some of them are coming out of retirement, coming out of the woodworks going, yeah, we're back, baby, right? That's the MK that needs to get excited, which is why I hope down the track, we will hopefully get a 3D era MK series. And then hopefully eventually to cream, like put the cream on top of the giant, yummy Mortal Kombat cake is MK vs. DC bundled with MK9. I think that would be absolutely perfect because it means that, you know, you're going to get a lesser sort of popular MK game bundled with one of the most absolutely like to die for Mortal Kombat games. And that way people might find a bit of a love in that now that, you know, it's had a fresh lick of paint added to it. Perhaps. I don't know. Right. Didn't he also treat staff like shit? I've heard this stuff, but again, this is, you know, whatever. Now, adding on to this is, yeah, around MK11's release, a bunch of former staff around there talked about the horrific conditions that NRS put them through, and this guy was still in charge back then. Stuff ranging from months of crunch to racism, sexism being widespread among the higher-ups, to one person even claiming that they suffered from PTSD after being ordered to research real-life gore in order... Now, I remember this part here, and I've covered it before. However, I don't remember anyone being told they were ordered to do it. Now, maybe they were ordered to do it. I don't know. But this is the first time I've actually seen this part right here being ordered to research it. Now, that's obviously a big claim, right? And I don't know if you'll ever get to the you know, to the meat and potatoes of that sort of claim. Regardless, again, we don't know, right? We might have, you know, personal histories of people that have talked to him and whatnot. I don't know. But maybe, just maybe, this could be a good thing. And if it doesn't end up being a good thing, well, you know, to be honest, I mean, to be perfectly honest, right, you know, all of us, like, at least, and I say all of us because I'm hopeful here that we will get the other collections. But right now, I'm a happy Mortal Kombat fan. I've got the Legacy Collection coming out. If that's all that comes out, I'm done. As far as MK goes, I'm happy. Right? We're going to have up-to-date both arcade and home versions of these games that we can play online with our friends and family and people from the channel all around the world. I am a happy camper. That's it. We're done as far as I'm concerned. Right? I don't care if they bring out 10 Mortal Kombat games that actually end up bombing. That's not my money. That's not my time or investment. I am going to absolutely make sure that people know like what true MK is. And if they keep pumping out filth, right, you know, in my opinion, it is nothing like MK in my opinion. Right, then at least I can say to people, listen, if you want real MK, here it is here. Right here, this is what you can play. And if they bring out the 3D era, then we go, we got this, and then we got this. And if they bring out MK9, it's like, we got this, and this, and this. The strength of Mortal Kombat is in the past. And we have seen that with 100% proof now with the reveal of MK Legacy Collection. Here's a link to one of the stories. That CEO leak meeting was scary, said one source present at the meeting. We were unfairly blamed, almost dragged out of our chairs for an immediate meeting to discuss NDA issues. His tone was absolutely unprofessional. Another source called the meeting demoralizing. Now, listen, to be fair, like to be fair, okay, this could be a bunch of people that just don't like the fact that people are saying, hey, listen, pull your head out of your effing ass and get on the job. Just get on the job, right? Stop dicking around, you know, stop worrying about, you know, being offended by this or anything like that. You're here to do a job. Do the job, right? That's what it could be, because you got to remember there's a whole story here, and if we're only hearing one side of it, then the other side could absolutely either exonerate or condemn. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, so you have to be careful with this sort of thing here. Now let's check this out. Now, this is the article. This is over here on Variety.com. Warner Brothers Games Restructures development, blah, blah, blah. And this goes into a lot more. Per Warner Brothers Department, or I'm assuming that's what I mean. Is it? Division. Sorry, my bad. Division. 3 current studio heads have been promoted to the role of Senior Vice President as part of the Warner Brothers Games restructure. Warner Brothers Games Montreal studio head Vez Lachance. I'm going to, you know what, he's French today. I don't care. Right, has been promoted to Senior Vice President, Development, overseeing the development teams working on Harry Potter and Game of Thrones games. NetherRealm Studio Head, Shaun Himmerick, has been promoted to Senior Vice President, Development and overseeing Mortal Kombat and DC games. And Warner Brothers Games New York Studio Chief Stephen Flannery has been promoted to Senior Vice President, Central Tech and Services, overseeing game and publishing technology, customer service, quality assurance, and user research. Under the new Warner Brothers Games development, production, and tech leadership structure, Lachance, we're going with that, Himmerick and Flannery, Flannery will all report directly to J.B. Perrette, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO of Global Streaming and Games. All teams across development, production, and tech will report to Lachance and Himmerick, aligned to the franchises for which they are creating games. The gaming publishing division's leadership will continue to be overseen by Perrette. Variety has confirmed this restructuring did not include any layoffs or the exit of any executives. The change comes on the heels of the January exit of former Warner Brothers Games chief David Haddad. It is currently unclear whether this new structure is in lieu of a permanent replacement for Haddad, or if the company is still actively seeking an overall leader. So, what this to me, I think this could be good. It means that where the strengths, and again, I'm just going just by this information. If anyone knows more information, please let me know in the comments. What this does is it's going, right, this is how we're going to restructure, obviously, the main focus of the properties that we own that are really good. They've listed 4. But rather than stretching these guys thin, so having, say, one guy covering 4, they're like, no, we're going to have Shaun, we're going to focus on MK and DC for you. You're part of the team that has been part of building those games. That's your only focus, bro. That's it. Don't worry about anything else. For the other guy, for Game of Thrones and Harry Potter, they're using Lachance, right? Whatever, right? And then the other guy, which is overseeing game and publishing technology, central tech services, and services, customer service, quality assurance, and user research, that also is in their hands now. So you got 3 heads, right? 3 captains, excuse me, if you will. And each one of those captains is in charge of a certain part of this whole, thing. So that way they don't have to worry about anything else. It's not their problem no more. If they were dealing with it, it's on the out. They're only focusing on this. This could be a good thing. This could be a good thing. But I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think about this news. We'll catch you next time. See ya.